Show number 175. Scott Hammer here along with Ron Miller. Jerry Keyser, he was here earlier, but then he had to go. He's leaving us for some iRacing stuff.
He bailed on us again.
Oh. So, I don't know what to say about that. Coming at you live from the Hammer Down Racing Report home studios. It is the Hammer Down Racing Report presented by Oakshade Raceway. Coming at you live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Make sure to like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter at Hammer Report, follow us on YouTube. I was actually looking at our YouTube numbers. I was like, wow, there's actually some pretty significant numbers there. I didn't realize that. So apparently we can't just think of YouTube as an afterthought anymore. We kind of got to focus on it, I suppose.
They're a big deal.
Yeah. Also, you can listen to us on demand, your favorite podcasting platform, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, whatever. All that information is available at hammerdownracingreport.com. Also, if you want to become a sponsor, you can find that information there as well as information on our current sponsors. Speaking of which, Oakshade Raceway, where the fastest meet to race every Saturday night, starting April 24th with the Bill Reckner Memorial, late models, sportsman, bombers, and compacts. And we have breaking news on that, on the Bomber A-Main purse. We'll get to that later on tonight. So, yeah, it's a teaser. You got to stick around for that. Sorry. Tonight on the show, we're going to speak to sprint car racer Harli White, who's going to be running the Ed Neumeister number 11, the 11N actually, running Attica, Fremont, Limaland, Eldora, Waynesfield, I believe is on there. We'll see if we can get her to get Millstream on that schedule as well. We'll see. Also, Brian Liskai.
You're going to want to listen to her. That's going to be a very interesting interview, Scott.
Yeah, she's got an interesting backstory too on how her career started, and so we'll talk to her about that. We got Brian Liskai, voice of both Fremont and Attica Raceway Park. We'll be talking to him about the Fremont Speedway schedule. What else we got? Giving away Big D's Pizza. That'll be coming up a little bit later. Already putting Ron to sleep. I see him yawning there. I want to thank Real Geese Silhouette Decoys, Millstream Speedway, Big D's Pizza, Ron Miller Race Cars. Before we get to Brian, a little bit of the racing roundup action from last week. Well, actually, you know what? We'll bring Brian in for this because he was there. Brian, you there?
Yeah. How you doing, guys?
Sorry to throw you on the spot there. I told you we'd bring you up a little bit, but we're talking Attica Raceway Park, and Ron wanted to talk about a certain event that happened there. But first, we'll mention that Brandon Spaleholler picked up his first ever Attica 410 sprint win Friday night. And then the late models. I'll let you explain what happened since I've only heard the stories, and I probably won't do it justice.
Well, the track was tremendously racy. And Ryan Markham, Rusty Schlenk, and Matt Irie ran 25 laps, either three wide or side by side, and in through and around traffic. It was incredible to watch and raced each other clean. I mean, they were throwing sliders at each other. It was absolutely, whenever you see a race like that, you say, oh, it's the best one I've ever seen because it's the latest one you've ever seen. So it's kind of hard to put that in perspective. But I will say that is the best late model feature I have ever seen.
Absolutely. And I've seen a few.
Was there any contact with all that action?
Just on the last lap, actually, Matt Irie and Rusty Schlenk kind of got into each other on the backstretch. It kind of let Ryan Markham get away a little bit, but, they went in the 3 and 4 and once again, we're three wide coming to the checkered flag. Ryan Markham is 49 years old, and the first question I asked him, I said, man, how old are you? And he said, I'm 49. I said, you didn't look like it out there. He was blasting the cushion like an 18-year-old, really, if you missed that feature, even diehard sprint car fans were messaging me, telling me how fantastic that race was.
That somebody puts those races up on the Attica Raceway website, don't they?
Yeah, Brian Boris does. John Boris, the promoter's son, he does a lot of video work, and they put it on AtticaRacewayPark.com.
All right, I'll have to check that out then. I've only heard the stories. But,
plus, I think Dirt Vision had a little snippet from it on their Twitter and Facebook pages, so you can look at that way too.
I guess I'm out of it. I'm behind.
You need to watch the whole race. Just a little snippet doesn't do.
All right.
It's from one end of that race to the other. It was It was amazing.
And also,
by the way, I saw you guys have Big D's Pizza. He was on the Moran car that won that $25,000 race down at Bristol, and I believe Big D's got some because of that. Got some specials going on this week.
9% off if you mention Devin Moran. Yeah,
there you go.
I won't mention that. The other special is if you mention the Hammer Down Racing Report, you save 10%. But
it just shows you where we stand, Scott.
I know.
If you mention both, you get 20, right?
Yeah, maybe. He might be on
19,
here. So
19.
Why not round it up? I'm sure Dean.
Yeah, round it up.
Dean's probably like, no, you guys are going to put me out of business. And also, Friday night, apparently, Zeth Sabo proved that Paul Weaver could be beaten. Finally beating Paul Weaver, ending his streak at 3 wins this season.
Yeah, Paul kind of predicted that. He said, I've been good, but I've also had some incredible luck drawing good. I don't think he started the 3 features he won any further back than 4th. And he drew a 25 pill and started towards the tail of his heat. He didn't get in the redraw, so he started, I believe, 16th in the A main. And, he got a dirty air and things like that. He still managed the top 10 out of it. But he said, my luck is going to come to an end. And this week now, we group qualified, both the late models and the 305s, along with our regular 410 qualifying. So that could just shake things up as well.
All right. We'll check back in with you about some Fremont stuff here in just a couple minutes then.
Okay.
There's Brian Liskai showing some insight there on Attica Raceway Park when we talked about Fremont here, which has their opener coming up a week from Saturday. Sandusky Speedway was in action, sort of, this past weekend. Weather played havoc on the Spring Icebreaker Cavalcade. Saturday, they were supposed to run both Saturday and Sunday. Dylan Napier took the Renegades feature win. So they actually did get some racing in, and this week's how many was based on how many were going to be running. So we'll talk about that later. Ethan Rusiska, hopefully I can never pronounce that correctly. Hopefully I got that right. Won the beginner stocks feature before the weather moved in and postponed the rest of the show to Sunday. Paul Biddle won the Sport Compact feature on Sunday, and then more rain came, postponed the rest of the features to Sunday, April 25th. So that's when they'll finish that up. World of Outlaws, Morton Buildings, late models, 4-time World of Outlaw champion Josh Richards won Friday's action at Bristol to pocket $10,000 after Jimmy Owens lost a left rear late in that race. And then, as we just talked about, Devin Moran won the $25,000 Bristol Bash main event, which was actually postponed due to weather until Sunday. Next up for the World of Outlaw late models will be Richmond Raceway in Kentucky on April 23rd. And then Saturday, April 24th at Brush Creek Motorsports Complex. World of Outlaws, NOS Energy Drink Sprint action. Australian James McFadden led the final 30 laps for his first victory of the season Friday at Kokomo in his 100th start. Carson Macedo passed James McFadden on the final lap to win Saturday's action at Tri-State Speedway. Next up was supposed to be Lawton Speedway in Oklahoma on Friday, but that's been postponed due to rain. So Saturday's still on the Texas Outlaw Nationals at Devil's Bowl Speedway. Rain played havoc on racing at Martinsville over the weekend with both Friday's Xfinity and Saturday's Cup races finishing on Sunday. Josh Berry earned a win for short track racers across America on Sunday afternoon by driving to his first NASCAR Xfinity Series victory in the Cookout 250 at Martinsville. Martin Truex Jr. took the lead late in the Blue Emu Maximum Pain Relief 500 and went on to pick up his second win of the season. He also becomes the first repeat winner in the Cup Series this year. Next up, for the Cup Series, the Toyota Owners 400 Richmond Raceway this Sunday at 3 o'clock on Fox. Xfinity, they're off until Talladega for the Ag Pro 300 on Saturday, April 24th, 4 o'clock on Fox for that. Other notes, Buddy Kofoid charged from 16th starting position to win Saturday night's opener at the Werco Manufacturing T-Town Midget Showdown at Port City Raceway. Not this T-Town, different T-Town. So that is your racing roundup. I want to thank Real Geese Silhouette Decoys, the most technologically advanced goose and duck decoys ever produced. They're manufactured in the U.S. Check out realgeese.com or call 419-800-8100. Check out the clothing and gear available they have on that website as well. Craig Mintz will greatly appreciate it. Brian Liskai, we got a exciting season on tap for Fremont Speedway, do we not?
Yeah, our 70th anniversary season kicks off next Saturday. Of course, we'll have the standard week in and week out 410 wing sprints, 305 wing sprints, and dirt trucks. But there's either a special show or a sanctioning body just about every week this year, including, of course, the third year of the Attica Fremont Championship Series. The Fast Series comes to town, I believe, 4 times. The Buckeye Outlaw Sprint Series, non-wing sprints come about 2 or 3 times. And some good paying All-Star Circuit of Champions come 3 times, including the Jim and Joanne Ford Classic in October. Everybody says, well, it's the same thing you run every week. Well, yeah, because we put on a pretty good show at Fremont Speedway, and that's why we've been around for 70 years.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Exactly. Well, we're going to add some things in there. Real fortunate that we've had some great marketing partners step up. You don't know what night they're going to do it, but just throw some money around, to the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 10th, 12th, 13th place finishers. It's pretty cool what has transpired the last couple of years at Fremont Speedway.
That seems to be happening at a lot of area tracks where sponsors will just come forward and be throwing money at a certain race or certain class. I mean, it's a cool thing, and hopefully we get more and more of that.
Yeah, I think, we brought in a whole new group of fans, which has desperately been needed, and they're younger business people, and they get excited when they get there, and they like to hear their name and like to see their name. And the other good part is our racers show their appreciation. They go thank those people for doing it. They just don't take their check and walk away. They go down and talk to them, and that's very important.
One thing I want to ask you, and this actually, I meant to ask Rex about this. I don't remember seeing the Fremont dirt trucks on the Attica schedule, and I totally missed that when we were talking to him about the Attica season. Is that? Do you know anything about that?
No, last year I think they were scheduled 2 or 3 times. We tried to run them more than that, and for some reason they would only show up with 10 or 11 trucks. But the last couple of times they actually had good numbers there. It's tough on those guys because it requires sometimes with the dirt trucks, you got to change a different rear end gear to run Attica than you do Fremont. And the guys that were willing to do that were the guys that were winning. The other guys would show up with their Fremont truck and try to run it and really struggle to be competitive. So it's a lot of hard work for them to switch out things to run Fremont and Attica.
Gotcha. Well, you got a pretty dedicated group of trucks there for Fremont then. Any predictions on who's going to win the championship this year?
Well, in order to win championship, you got to beat Sean Valenti.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that. Corey McCoy, once he got in the 911 truck out of Toledo, showed that he can do that. He had, I think, either just as many or one more feature win than Sean did this past year. But a lot of guys are stepping up their program from the off season. I think we're going to see good numbers for the dirt trucks once again. At one time we had a fair race. We had 62 trucks show up for that. Those trucks didn't go anywhere. They're still out there somewhere. And we've added 4 or 5, it seems like every year for the past 3 years, new trucks into this deal. So we could start getting in the neighborhood of 30, 35 trucks on a weekly basis. The 305s are doing the same thing. Attica's averaging, I believe, 31 305s a night over there. So those numbers have gone up with new blood being pumped into the sport. It's really encouraging.
Well, I know that Ron takes pride in it looks like we just lost him. He's now a black box on the screen. But he takes pride because he's got something to do with that truck that Corey McCoy's been driving. But anyway, another thing that Ron would have been interested in here is that I noticed that you got one show of late models coming up on September 25th in addition to the regular show.
Yeah, we have met the group that is running Fremont Speedway. We've met every Thursday for about the past 2 months. And one of the things we've kind of tried to discuss is how we can put a little bit of variables in our schedule to get some new interest in. And the Steel Block Late Model Series, I believe it's based out of around the Cleveland area.
That's what I was going to ask. I hadn't heard too much about this series.
Yeah, and it's not like a crate motor. You can run a 410 cubic inch motor. It just has to be a steel block. And I guess they bring pretty good late models with them. These guys have big haulers and they have some money with them. So
Wow.
It's going to be interesting to see how this transpires. It wasn't a big purse and a big sanctioning fee for the racetrack to try this one. And if, we hope we can help this series get off the ground. It might be, racing is not cheap. We all know that, but maybe this is a little more cost effective than, an aluminum block series and everything that goes into late model racing. The late model racing has gone up astronomically because of engines mainly, but also tire shocks and that sort of thing. They've gotten so complicated with these late models that, man, you got to spend a lot of time on research and development and a lot of money to compete. So maybe this series is one that kind of levels the playing field a little bit.
Ron just joined us back. And yes, we're talking late models at Fremont,
Right.
Steel Block Series. Do you know what other tracks they run at?
I haven't seen their schedule as yet, but no, I don't.
Okay.
But I want to say this is the second or third year that they've come around in this deal.
I know they run them down southern Ohio a fair amount. And I can't remember the tracks.
Yeah, I believe you're right. I want to say they were at either Portsmouth or one of those tracks a couple times. If I take a big risk on this one and see if the fans like it. Our trucks, 305s and 410 sprints will be on that card that night as well. We're hoping they bring, it'd be nice if they brought 20 late models thereabouts and put on a good show. And if the fans like that, then, next year we might look at adding them to a couple more shows.
I've talked to a few late model racers from this area that run steel blocks, and they're excited about the show. So I think you're going to get some local talent.
I hope so. We tried to run the crate late models for about 3 or 4 years, and it was interesting because when we held the meetings to see if there was an interest in doing the crate late model, they packed the place. And all these guys said, yep, we're going to build these things because this is cost effective and we can go racing with you. And, we never got more than 12 on a given night. And I wonder where all those guys went that said they were going to build this. And, it kind of left a sour taste in our mouth because, we thought we were going to get some support on this deal. We paid a full purse for them and we paid a full point fund for them. And the most we ever got was 12. So I fingers crossed. I hope this turns out very well.
Well, let's talk sprint car racing because that's what Fremont's known for. A lot of big races this year. You got, like you mentioned, what is it? It looks like there's at least 3 or 4 almost right in a row of the Attica Fremont Championship Series. You got the Fast Series in there, Boss coming, and of course the Ohio All-Star Sprint Speed Week with the All-Stars. Which of those events are you most looking for? I mean, it's like almost a big event every week.
I kind of like when we do, one of them, and you're going to think I'm nuts, but we're going to try to get this fair race in. It's been rained out, I think, each of the last 3 or 4 years for the 305. It's just a night we get to have a race during the fair. And Rich Farmer was able to bring that back a few years ago, and it had been since 1976 since they raced at the fair during the fair. And, it's kind of cool for those guys to be the headline and the only thing running during that fair race and to see the stands get packed and to have the rides in the background. It's just kind of a neat deal. So I really look forward to that. I also look forward to of course, Speed Week. When the All-Stars run across the state of Ohio, kicks off at Attica and then comes to Fremont the next night. And our season-ending Jim and Joanne Ford Classic with the All-Stars. With a $5,000 to win on Friday night and a $10,000 to win on Saturday night. And we have a party afterward. And it's kind of a neat deal to wrap up the season.
Isn't that, I don't recall Fremont running that deep into October there, the second weekend. Is that a little deeper than it has been in the past?
Yeah, usually we conclude at the end of September, but, last year because of COVID, we lost the first part of our schedule. And, we said, all right, we want to try to get as many dates in as we can, and we'll schedule stuff later, and we ran almost the end of October. I think it was the last week in October, and the fans supported it. They packed the place for the Jim and Joanne Ford Classic late in October. So, we're just pushing our season about 3 weeks later. We try to cooperate with everybody. I mean, if you look down through our schedule, there's nights off here and there. And that's because some other track is going to run a big event. Or, Eldora's got the Kings Royal, so we take that weekend off because we know a lot of our drivers and fans like to go down there for that. So we try to cooperate with other tracks, and they cooperate with us. Shane Helms has been phenomenal at Waynesfield cooperating with us as well. And he's got a big race coming up this Saturday, kind of a late edition, which is going to be kind of fun. So, yeah, we have dates off here. There's only 20 events on the schedule this year. But they're dispersed from, April 24th through October the 9th with weeks off here and there, again, because we try to cooperate with other racetracks.
And you got, looks like the second half of August off for the fair. And like you said, the Tuesday, right, August 24th for that. That 305 is actually an Attica Fremont Championship Series race, too?
Yes, it is. And that's one of those deals, again, where you never know what it's going to pay because we get businesses that'll just throw in a ton of money. I think we had over $3,000 a few years ago when we were able to get the race in added to the purse from people and it wasn't even businesses. It was race fans. I'll give $100 for the driver finishing 13th or whatever. It was pretty cool.
Dwayne Hancock does a great job with, he's good at getting people to part with their money.
When he and Rex Lejeune sat down to come up with this Attica Fremont Championship Series deal, one of the things that they really wanted to do, and they've been very successful at it, and talking to the race teams, it has been invaluable, is, the point fund is what it is. It's a great point fund. They come up with ways to get money into the hands of the teams throughout the course of the season. And that can be huge. That can be the difference between getting an engine refreshed or either sitting at home for 2 or 3 weeks when you can get them some money in their hands during the course of the season.
Now, some of the restrictions with COVID have been released or relaxed. That's the word I'm going for. Kind of relaxed as far as outdoor sporting events. What kind of restrictions do you guys have in place at Fremont for this year, or are there any? Is it just wearing masks, or what's the deal with that?
Yeah, we're at, I think every racetrack's doing this. I think last year the different county health departments had different rules and regulations. We worked very well in the Sandusky County Health Department, and that's how we were able to race. Attica, had to do some things and jump through some hoops to get racing in there. I know Rex has gone to weekly meetings at the health department there. Almost every racetrack is saying, look, wear your mask in. When you're not eating or drinking, wear your mask in the stands. Try to socially distance it. We aren't at capacity every week. We'd like to be, but we aren't. So there's spaces for people to, socially distance as well as possible. And you know what? The fans have been great. We've got 4 events in Attica this year, and the fans have listened and done what they can because they understand we want to keep racing. And in order, look, I'm not a big proponent of masks. I'm an older generation guy. I'm not a big proponent, but you know what? I'll wear one if I can keep the racetrack going and go to the races every week.
Absolutely. And hopefully, I'm hoping this year things will start looking more normal toward the end of the season, if not sooner. At least I hope so.
Well, isn't that what the vaccine's supposed to do?
Yeah. I got my second shot yesterday. My arm's kind of itchy right now, and so now I got I got the tracking thing. All good. Hey, I'm doing it. I want to get this over with.
Absolutely.
I don't want to wear the mask. I don't want to have to do all that stuff, But like you said, I'm going to do it because I want to go racing. Back to the Fremont. So how long you been announcing at Fremont?
I started in 1985. This is my 37th year of announcing.
Damn, you're older than I thought you were.
Well, he was 30 when he started.
Tomorrow.
Are you really? No way.
Yeah, I'll turn 57 tomorrow.
Son of a gun. I wouldn't have thought you were. I figure we were probably similar in age, but wow. Happy birthday.
So thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
I was going to ask you what your favorite class was out there at Fremont, but you kind of indicated that you got something for the 305s. I don't know if it was just the fair race or if it's that class, but do you have a favorite class out there?
Well, yeah, I'm a 410 sprint guy. My dad drove sprint cars for, close to 25 years. And I grew up in 410 sprint cars. Back when he started, there wasn't all these distinctions. It was either a sprint car or it wasn't. Some guys ran 350, some ran 410, some ran 393s. It was just a sprint car. Now we have, 410, 360, 305. Oh, by the way, we are bringing in the 360s at Fremont this year on July 31st. An all sprint car event. It's the Fast 410, the 305, and the GLSS 360 are coming in town with that. But we have so many classes of sprint cars now. But I'm at heart a wing 410. I'll tell you what, though, the late models, since I've been announcing at Attica for, 12, 13 years now, have really grown on me. And if they do shows like they did last Friday night, I'll tell you what, I will be a huge fan for a long time.
What do you think about Millstream coming back to life this year? Do you think that's going to help out with any 410s? Making a 3-day weekend, Friday at Attica, Saturday Fremont, Millstream on Sunday.
But here's the thing. I hosted a Facebook Live event for Waynesfield Raceway Park this past Tuesday, and we had Greg Wilson, DJ Foose, and Cole Duncan in there. We were talking about that, and you realize a couple of weeks ago there were 3 tracks running in the state of Ohio, and of those 3 tracks, I think one had 29, one had 30, and one had 32. Or something. It was 80 wing 410 sprint cars competing on the same night in Ohio.
Wow!
Within 3 to 4 hour radius of each other, and it's because other tracks are open. Waynesfield's running special events. Millstream's got, I think, 5 sprint car shows this year. Right. It distributes the money. When you look at the tracks like Wayne County, Atomic, Sharon Speedway, doing that, and then let's look at fan interest. You got Oakshade running. You've got other tracks running. Now Millstream's going to do what? Modifieds, I believe they got a couple shows. They're going to run the 305. When you can, the more tracks create more fans. And it might not help each track on a weekly affair, but when you have big events and special events, that gets a lot of attention. And when the more fans you can create, everybody succeeds that way. So it spreads money around. It keeps race teams going. I mean, like I said, those 3 nights or 3 tracks that were run on the same night all paid really good purses. One was an all-star event. One, I believe, paid $5,000 to win. The other one paid $3,000 to win. It helps race teams because everybody takes home a little chunk of the pie that way.
What is this? Thomas Cole says I need to play Piano Man for you to sing karaoke.
Yeah, I've won awards with it.
Oh, yeah. Can you do it a cappella?
No.
Oh.
I have to have a scotch in hand and a cigar in the ashtray. So.
Got it. Harli White, are you familiar with her?
Very familiar with Harli. When I had a radio show, I had her on. As Ron pointed out, she's got a very interesting story with her. She was severely burned. She's really, a lot of people think the old timers think females in dirt track racing is a gimmick. She proves otherwise. This girl is a racer. I've watched her race the ASCS 360s. When she's teamed up with a lot of people over the years and has had great success. Johnny Herrera kind of helped put her in the right way. This deal with Ed Neumeister and the crew chief coming along in that deal, this is going to be an eye opener for her. It does my heart good to know we got racers coming from California and out west to race in the Midwest because they know that's how they're going to get recognized. And you can go back to the Macedos and Buddy Kofoid. They came to Ohio to race because that got them recognized.
Yeah, Buddy Kofoid came to mind when I read that story of her coming around here to race this summer. We had Carson Macedo come and he started out in Craig Mintz's car and then ran the Ed Neumeister car a few times. Christopher Bell came out this way, ran Rick Ferkel's car and then got rides based off that. And now Cole Macedo's out here doing the same thing. So it's pretty cool to watch that. Awesome. Well, we got to get going here so we can talk to Harli. Give us a little preview of that first race at Fremont.
It's Saturday, April 24th. It's the Pub 400 night. By the way, they're having a benefit this coming Sunday at the Pub 400 in Fremont, the official bar, Fremont Speedway, to raise money for the Holzerville, Ohio Injured Drivers Fund this Sunday there in Fremont. We have the 410 sprints, 305 sprints, dirt trucks. Gates will open. We're going to open a little earlier this year at 3 o'clock. We're going to open gates to try to get so we can start on time racing at 7 o'clock. So come on out for the 70th anniversary season at the track that Action built.
And even though it's the 70th year, Brian has not been there all 70 years.
Half of them, over half of them.
Just over half of them. All right, man.
Now listen, Johnny Oxter has, and he will be there. I'm guaranteeing if it's not too cold. I think Johnny's 92 years old. He was at the very first race in Fremont in 1951, and he comes out every week.
Very nice. Play Piano Man and do some karaoke.
No. I told you I need a scotch and a cigar. So
why can't you?
Go talk to Harli White. She's a lot cuter and a lot more talented than I am.
All right, Brian. Thanks for the update.
Thank you guys for the opportunity. Have a great evening.
All right, you
Talk
too.
to you soon.
All right, Brian Liskai, voice of Fremont and Attica Speedways there for you, giving us a little preview of the 2021 season at Fremont Speedway. Ron Miller Race Cars, what's going on there? Talk for a minute so I can get Harli on the phone here.
Oh, okay. Scott, we've just been busy finishing up the two trucks that we've got going, about ready to start on the third truck. The store's been busy. It really has. Everybody's in a panic. I think everybody kind of took the winter off and thinking, well, COVID and it's going to be like last year, going to be a slow start. Well, COVID kind of fooled us, and it's going to be business as usual. Tracks are opening up, and guys are in a panic.
Are all those Fremont trucks going to be ready for next weekend?
For sure, one of them.
For sure, one of them.
I don't know about the second one, and for certain, not the third one.
Fair enough. Bringing up Harli White here.
Maybe.
Hopefully.
She's aware of the time difference.
Hopefully, although I didn't give her my number. I could be.
Hello.
Hi, is this Harli?
Yes, this is her.
Harli, this is
All right.
Scott Hammer, Ron Miller, Hammer Down Racing Report. You're live on the air. I was going to say I didn't give her my number. Maybe she thinks we're a spam call.
No, it actually, it's weird how iPhone is so smart. It pops up Scott Hammer.
Wow.
I know.
I have no privacy.
Creepy. I know it. You can even prank call someone.
Scott, the screen says Brian Liskai is on the phone, and boy, I know that's not the case.
I got too much to do here.
Harli sounds much too nice to be Brian.
Yes. Yeah, we just got off the phone with Brian Liskai from, whoops. I made him pop up there again. From Fremont, where you're going to be racing this summer. Tell us before we get to what happened when you first began racing. Tell us how this deal came about with Ed Neumeister, and you're going to be running in our neck of the woods this summer.
Yeah, super exciting. So I actually just a mutual friend, Kent Carhoff. I've known him for a few years. And I met Ed, I guess, last year during Knoxville Nationals, and I'd actually done pretty well. I don't have a 410 of my own, so I always rent a 410 just for the Nationals, and I did pretty well. I met Ed and met him in one of the Knoxville suites, and we just got to talking. He was just all friendly, knew of me but never met me, and I kind of didn't really know a whole lot about him, but got to know him. And kind of knew what drivers he was associated with and stuff. So I was like, wow, this is really cool. And then Kent Carhoff called me at Chili Bowl and he said, hey, would you be interested in racing in Ohio this year? I said, well, heck yeah, that's awesome. That's like dream come true. So I've known about it for a while, but with COVID and just everything kind of slowly getting started, I really didn't want to jump the gun and announce it and then something happened. You know how it is.
Yeah.
So I waited for a little while and it's been killing me. I've been wanting to tell everyone. But yeah, so we're excited. I'm actually going to leave out this Sunday and drive to Ohio to race this next weekend.
And you're
Harli,
from
yeah, I was going to say, fill us in on where you live and what the racing is there, and what the big allure is in coming to Ohio.
Right. So I'm from Oklahoma. Have always been from here, and I've always most of my career I've traveled through the Midwest. I've been on the ASPS National Tour for the last 5 years. So we traveled, to Pennsylvania, to Washington. I've done the Florida Swing a few times. Been almost everywhere, but have always skipped Ohio just because it's not really a 360 dominant, racing world. It's mostly 410 out there. So, yeah, just been racing around close to home, far away from home, and but been traveling a lot. So I'm really excited to get up to Ohio. It's one of those states where you recognize as a sprint car driver, like, oh, Pennsylvania, it's the heart of the sprint car world. Well, so is Ohio. So I'm really excited to go see new tracks, meet new people, and see what we can do.
Well, the Pennsylvania guys, when they want to test their real metal, they come to Ohio.
Right? That's what I've heard.
Yeah.
There's no pushovers.
You're going to be here the entire summer. I know that you just had a few dates that you had published for the end of this month and in May. But I'm assuming you're going to be here the entire summer then? That's the plan at least?
Yeah, that's the plan. I mean, we really didn't know what schedule to put out there. We do have options with as many races as y'all get to race out there. So we're kind of on the fence about where we might be. So we just didn't want to throw out a whole bunch of dates out there that's subject to change, if you know what I mean. So we will have a 360 and a 410 car. So we'll have plenty of options, mainly in Ohio. And yeah, I'll be up there the whole time, but possibly flying back and forth for my day job during the week and then up there racing for the weekends, or I might be working remotely from Ohio on the computer, working back in Oklahoma. So we'll just see how it goes. Heck, I might not ever come on. We might race four times a weekend or something. You never know. So we'll just get up there and get racing and see how we go.
5 weeks out of the summer, there'll be 3 nights, all within probably an hour and a half of each other. Attica,
I know.
Attica, Fremont, and then Millstream, a story track where Jeff Gordon got his start. Is going to be running 5 Sundays with the sprint cars. So, lot of racing.
Yes, very much so. I'm really excited. Super pumped to probably go to Eldora, see where they finally released that. So we're going to try to go there. I'm just excited. I mean, I've never been to a track in Ohio yet, so I will be new to everything. So it'll be fun.
We're looking forward to it and looking forward to watching you race out here. But you kind of have a little bit of a story. I guess that started in your first race. How did you get into racing? And then tell us exactly what happened in that very first race you were in. Right.
So I'm actually, I just have an older sister. We're 7 years apart. And my dad raced, grandpa raced, grew up, dad raced dirt bikes and then transitioned into just stock cars and modifieds and things like that. So growing up, I always worked on them, helped my dad. A little bit of grease monkey. I loved old cars and loved learning about them and always challenged myself. Even though I was a little kid, I was like, Dad, I'm going to help you carry that pumpkin to the rear end. One of these days, I'm going to get strong enough to carry that pumpkin so we could change gears. So, and I'd learn how to take on and off the tire and a wheel of a modified steel rim. And that was pretty heavy, but I was 10, 11, 12 years old doing that. So, just always been around it. But my dad, never had that boy. So I guess you consider me the tomboy of the family. And then I never seen kids race before until we went to this race called the Topless 100 in Cowtown, Texas, near Dallas. And it's a big race. They do 100 laps with the modifieds. My dad was in it. He did pretty good and whatnot. And they have a track inside of a track, like a little track inside of a big track. And I've never seen that before because I mostly grew up around like the state fairgrounds. And I was like, well, Dad, what's that track for? And he's like, well, the little cars race around there. I'm like, well, what little cars? What are you talking about? And they were actually mini sprints. And I was like, paid attention after that, you know, and I see kids younger than me, kids my age, like in race suits. And I'm like, Dad, what are they racing? Like, they're my age. He's like, well, they're racing mini sprints. Well, I want to do that. So he's like, well, if you find a car for sale, we'll look at it and see what we can do, or see if you want to do it or whatever. So I just like left him, you know, and went and walked around the pits and found like 3 race cars for sale, mini sprints, ready to go, race ready. I was like, Dad, I found a good deal. Like, you know, as a kid, everything's a good deal, right? So he's like, well, we'll go look at it after I get done racing. So we went and looked at all the cars, and he told me, he said, well, we'll think about it. So we go home, and I'm all bummed, you know, because we didn't load a race car in the trailer that day. And then a couple months later, in December of 2007, I got a race car, one of the ones that I found, a mini sprint, my first car ever. I was so excited. I still have pictures of this day, me sitting in it. So that happened in 2007, got my first race car. April of 2008, we went and practiced the car a few times, like, you know, for play day during the week. And my parents were like shocked because I was just like fast, like right out of the gate, just stand on it, never lift. And they're like, oh my gosh, like maybe she is meant to race and she's not scared of it. So then we went actually riding 4-wheelers and stuff as a family the week before my accident. And my mom had actually just gotten on to me. She was like, Harli, you need to slow down on that 4-wheeler. You're going to hurt yourself. So she took it away from me. And then, my goodness, if she didn't crash on that 4-wheeler and break her arm. And so she had to get rod put in her arm. And then we went home. And then that next weekend, I said, hey, I think I want to go racing. And I was like, no, your mom's arm's broke. You're not feeling well. I actually had the flu at the time. And they said, we'll go another weekend. And I talked them into it. I was like, no, I want to go. I think I can do good. So April 5th of 2008, my mom went. She wasn't going to miss my first race. I don't really remember anything leading up to that. I know I felt terrible, and I probably shouldn't have been racing because I was so sick, but I was bound to race. And just kind of a freak accident. You know, I kind of hit the wall a little bit, and car fell over on its side, and I caught on fire. And I was trapped in the car for a really long time. I think the whole video is like 10 minutes long or something like that. And at the time, like, no one knew who I was. No one knew. I didn't know anyone there. My family didn't know anyone there because we never really were around that kind of racing. We were always around modifieds and stuff. So while I was trapped inside, you know, obviously the car later on side, a small fire was happening, and I knew to shut all the switches off, try to get out. You know, my dad taught me all that. We practiced the whole get in and out type of thing. And I couldn't get out. I was stuck there, and I didn't know what was going on, so I couldn't see nothing and pulled my helmet off. And then the fire just got bigger and bigger and bigger. And then you hear everyone yelling and screaming and just complete chaos happening. And I was like, man, I've been in here way too long. And then I remember closing my eyes, and then I opened my eyes, and I'm laying on the ground next to the car. And then at the time, I didn't know it, but Donnie Ray Crawford, who was another racer waiting to race the next race, had actually ran to my car, pulled me out of the fire, and saved my life. I mean, he was just a God sent angel that rescued me that day. And ever since then, I went to Shriners Hospital for Children in Galveston. Long story short, recovered in 8 months or so, spent 21 days in ICU, and wow. Now I'm 45% burned, deep 3rd and 4th degree burns. So pretty badly burned, but I've never let it stop me. And even right after I was in the hospital, I was like, where's the car? Is it fixable? I mean, can we get it going again? And my parents were like, no. My parents put their foot down. They said, you are not ever racing again. Your dad's not racing again. Everything's going away. We're selling everything, getting rid of everything. And obviously I couldn't really do a whole lot then because I was still recovering. But by December of 2009 or 2008, sorry, same year my accident happened, I talked them into finally getting me another race car, and I went back to racing in April of 2009. So just kind of it's just a freak accident, you know, that no one could have prevented. You know, we have a lot of bad things that have happened in the world, and just accidents that, you know, people are, you know, getting hurt, and just still fires are happening to this day. And just, it's unfortunate that sometimes it's just not preventable. You know what I mean? It was meant to happen, and it happened. And I accepted it. I always told my parents, I was like, you know, I'm glad it happened to me and not anyone else, because I'm okay with it. Like I made it through it, and you know, I would always tell them, well, I'm blessed that I was strong and pushed through and still racing to this day. So it's just a bit of a long story. I could go on for hours and probably should write a book one day, but
you should.
I mean, there's a whole lot more to it. We can keep going, but I'll keep it short and sweet. So yeah, I've just been racing ever since April of 2009, full on as a career, and love every minute of it. Wouldn't change a thing.
Harli, we've got a comment section on our page here, and a couple of people have asked if you'll have T-shirts for sale this summer. Have you already cut a deal for that?
Yes, I actually called my friend Bullet Impressions, in California, and they are working on T-shirts as we speak. I was kind of waiting to get the graphics done, and we just got that done weeks ago. So kind of been dragging our feet. Like, we've been waiting around, and then I dragged my feet about getting shirts made. So I'm hoping that they're done in the next couple of weeks. So I'll just ship them straight to you. Definitely going to have shirts, hats, and whatever else I can get made. We'll have it there.
It sounds like it's going to be a big deal.
Yeah, of course. I mean, you got to make it a big deal. I mean, it's like a dream come true to be racing in Ohio. You know, for Ed, I mean, just the quite the history he has with drivers that he's had in his car and how successful they've been. So it's just the perfect opportunity, and I'm going to take full advantage of it and do the best that I can.
Now, was there ever a doubt in your mind, you know, at any point that you'd get back in a race car after the fire?
No, never. My parents thought I was crazy because I never had a doubt in my mind. I mean, I think they said the first thing I asked about when I woke up was, where's the race car? And even after, like, I was healed and kind of, you know, thought about it, weighed my options and all that, I actually asked my mom, Mom, like, yeah, she's like, I was like, what happens if I get burned in another race car again? Like, where are they going to take the skin from? And she's like, well, Harli, I never thought about that. And she said, well, I guess you wouldn't have any place. And I said, well, I guess not. Like, oh, well. So it's just like, I don't know. There's just something about it. The first time I raced, even though it was short-lived due to the accident, that I just fell in love with it, and I'm addicted to it.
Tough as nails, too. I mean,
Harli, you've been to Australia a couple of times. Tell our listeners about that.
Yeah, I went to Australia, I guess, first time was like five years ago, maybe. Probably it's showing my age a little bit. But I went to Sydney and raced, for the winter time over there. And then the last few times I went to Perth in Western Australia, all 410 wing sprint car deal for different people each time. And that's just huge. I mean, they love sprint car racing. It's just as big as it is over here as it is there. And you obviously don't think that in other countries racing can be as big, just because we have it everywhere over here, and they do over there as well. And I mean, just fans are amazing. Everyone's great. I honestly have the best support system from Australia. I have some really awesome fans that still follow me, whether I'm over here or over there. So just love Australia, and hopefully I get to go back. This past year I raced Chili Bowl instead. So it's kind of like it's a really hard decision you have to make. Do you go spend all winter racing in Australia, or do you stay here and race Chili Bowl? I mean, it's a really tough decision. And even this past year, I had to make that decision. I said, well, I haven't raced Chili Bowl in a few years, so we'll go that route. But yeah, hopefully I get to go back some more.
The Motorplex in Perth is a pretty impressive facility.
It is. I mean, it's insane, and it's crazy how many people they get and the fans. Awesome track, fun to race on, and yeah, it's not really similar to any tracks over here. I mean, it's really cool, and they're so professional. I mean, just the pit areas are like immaculate. Like you just want to like lay on the grass because the grass is like golf course grass. I feel like. And it's just like, it's crazy. It's awesome.
Ron's raced over in Australia. That's why I'm not part of this conversation. You guys are the Australian connection there.
Right.
Maybe one day I'll get there.
Yeah.
You mentioned the Chili Bowl, and I saw you're the highest finishing, or you have the highest finishing position for any female in the Chili Bowl. When?
Yeah.
Where did you finish, and when was that? Was that this past Chili Bowl?
That happened forever ago, actually, believe it or not. And for the longest time, no one ever knew that. But I knew it. I knew how.
Of course you did.
I don't remember. I think it was 2017, I believe, is whenever I did that. But in 2016, I think 2015, I was in the C main. Or D main, I'm sorry. And then the highest finishing I've done was the back of the B main.
Well, that's pretty good with all the alphabet soup that they have on that last day.
I had a really good opportunity to actually transfer from the B to the A. I was running about 8th or 9th in the B, and I had a flat or something, so I had to pull off. So it was kind of like, super bummer. But yes, B main.
What is the most what racing accomplishment are you most proud of?
Oh man, there's a lot of times where I've done really well and didn't end up with a win. It's because silly circumstances or have you. But probably right now, the most recent one would be the ASCS national win, getting that first nationally circuit win was huge, and first female to do that as well. So that was pretty crazy. I didn't know that at all. But that's probably the most recent. That was with Johnny Herrera at West Memphis, believe it or not. So elbows up, cowboy up racetrack.
What's your long-term racing goals? I mean, is 410 where you just want to be? I mean, do you want to move up to NASCAR or IndyCar, or what's your long-term goals as far as racing?
Yeah, I've always just left my goals open. You never know what can happen in the racing world, and I've always just said, of course, I want to be up as high as I can get, move on to the next level. Like I'm willing and open, and I would be so cool to move up into that next level. But at the same time, I'm like, as long as I'm just racing and doing it for a living, I'm so happy. I love racing, and it's my passion. So as long as I'm making enough money to pay my bills and do what I like to do, that's the dream, right? Just be racing.
Is there one particular event you're most looking forward to in our area this summer?
All of them, honestly. I have not been to any of the tracks, so I'm looking forward to add it. I think I'm learning all the names. Eldora, obviously. I mean,
Kings Royal.
All of them. Kings Royal is huge. Oh my gosh. I'll probably be nervous that race, but it's okay. We'll be fine. No big deal. It's like racing Chili Bowl or Knoxville Nationals. It's just like a different feeling. You're not like nervous. It's just like a nervous feeling. It's really hard to explain. But you're like going into it knowing it's like the biggest race of your career.
I was going to say, you've run the Knoxville Nationals, so I mean,
you've
run big events. Yeah,
but you just don't. I don't know. You just don't think about it until the time comes, and you're like, "Crap, this is a big race." A lot of people watching me.
Yeah.
Well, that's what you want, though.
Yeah.
We got a comment here. Have her mention Donnie Ray Foundation. What's that about?
Yeah, of course. Donnie Ray Crawford Foundation. They formed this after Donnie Ray passed, and it's a scholarship foundation where you can apply to get a scholarship for college. Donnie Ray's passion, I guess, right around the time of well, actually, right after Chili Bowl, during Chili Bowl, he was moving in the year he passed, moving in with my family and I to go to college at OU to be an engineer. So he always had that passion for school and always wanted to finish college. So they carried on his legacy by the foundation and giving out scholarships every year. So people can donate, and then they'll give out scholarships twice a year to kids that, fill out the forms to do so. So if anyone needs a scholarship as well, check it out on Sonny Ray Crawford Legacy Foundation.
I got a question for you. I was doing some research on you, and I could have swore I saw somewhere that said you were an inspirational speaker, but then when I went looking for it again, I couldn't find it. So I don't know if that was just in my head. I mean, is that something you do?
No, it is.
Okay,
yeah.
so it was. I did see it.
Yeah.
Then.
Yes, I did it there for a little while. I got to do it pretty often. I wasn't racing like near as much. So I had like Sundays where I would go do public speaking events at churches and things like that, or schools, or I've done a few businesses as well at corporate events. Yeah, I love to do that. And honestly, I should have been promoting it more with how this year has turned out. I would have had some more free time, but then they haven't been doing any events. So that is another passion of mine. I love sharing my story. I'm not shy about it one bit. Like I said, I should write a book because it just goes on and on and on. But yeah, I enjoy doing that. And hopefully, I know I have a few opportunities to do that this year as well. It's just working out the time. There's not enough Saturdays in the weekend. That's my problem. We need more weekend days and no weekdays.
I like that. We have second Saturday, third Saturday, first Sunday, second Sunday, then maybe Tuesday in the middle. Yeah. That way I can race and do public speaking events on the weekend. Well, maybe you could do some while you're around here. Looking at your schedule, looks like have you raced yet this year, or is your first race going to be here in Ohio on the 23rd?
I've raced about 5 or 6. Well,
other than the Chili Bowl?
No. I've raced 5 races this year in a non-wing 410 sprint car. And we did pretty good. We've had a couple top 5s, and a couple of the other times we're just trying to figure out, how to turn me into a non-wing race car driver whenever I've been driving teams for the last 7 years. So I was trying to break bad habits, but we finally got it figured out. And then now all the rain's coming. So we're going to go around with the Outlaws tomorrow at Lawton that they rained out. Yeah. So I will get my seat from them and head to Ohio on Sunday.
Awesome. Ron's a late model guy. Have you ever run a late model, or would you?
I would.
Or are you just an open wheel person?
I've always wanted to. That's like one of the one cars that I want to drive without a doubt. Late model, 100%.
Well,
I drove a modified. I drove a limited mod, a handful of times for Dustin's Dream, at Tri-State Speedway in Toccoa, Oklahoma. It's a fast track, and I was like, holy smokes! I was so confused, didn't know how to get going. And then I think I finished like second in the heat race, and they have this like real cool thing where you can drive in front of the stands and like slap, give everyone a high five and shake people's hands. And I'm like, guys, I don't know how to work this clutch that well. And I like kept stalling it out, and I'm like, this is so backwards. I'm so confused. So I was like, just bear with me. I'll eventually get back to the trailer.
Yeah,
but it was fun.
I was going to say, don't feel bad. I jumped in Ron's late model, and I drive a clutch. I have just a stock car. It's a clutch, and his is totally backwards. I didn't understand it at all. You push it out of the clutch.
It's not backwards. It's second nature, Scott.
It doesn't make any sense.
Whenever you're like in a panic, what do? You push the clutch.
Yeah.
Don't do that in a modified.
So confusing. Anyway, April 23rd, that's going to be your debut, Attica Raceway Park. Looking forward to that. And then you're going to be at Attica the following Friday. And then it looks like May 1st, Fremont Speedway, World of Outlaws at Eldora on May 7th and 8th. You got Limaland on May 21st. Actually, a couple Limalands, May 28th as well, running with the NRA Sprint Invaders. I believe those are going to be 360 shows. Then back at Fremont on May 29th and Waynesfield Raceway Park, a little track, running the Fast Series. So sounds like a pretty cool start to your season, and there's going to be a lot more coming. Are you going to run, or do you know if you're going to run the Ohio Sprint Speed Week? with the All-Stars?
We haven't yet. We haven't discussed it. We're just kind of like a few of the races I know we're going to change, and I think race at a different track. I can't tell you when or how or where track. I don't remember. But I'm kind of like live one race at a time, if that makes sense.
Oh, no, a lot of racers are that way.
We'll get through the first few and see how we go, and we'll just keep adding to that schedule as we go.
Rusty Schlenk, I don't know if you're familiar with him, a late model driver from around here. We've talked to him a few times, and I asked him where he's going to be. He's like, oh, it depends on how I feel when I wake up that morning.
Right?
That's when
with all the options up there, it could be raining at one track, and we're like, hey, we're going to go over here because there's no rain there. So you just never know where we might end up. But I will post it on Facebook. Okay,
I was going to say, how can people keep up to date as to where they can find you this summer?
Facebook's probably the easiest. This is easy to update quickly, so definitely follow us on Facebook, or I have my website. I'm not real big into Twitter, just kind of confused by it. I don't know. I've just been a Facebooker forever. So Facebook, Harli White Racing.
HarliWhiteRacing.net is the website, and we look forward to seeing you.
Awesome. I can't wait. Looking forward to it.
All right. Well, we appreciate the time. Harli White, once again, look for her in a 410 or 360, the Ed Neumeister 11N this summer at a track around here.
Yeah.
Awesome.
All right. Thanks, Harli.
Thank you. Thank you.
Great talking with you, Harli.
Y'all too.
All right. Take care.
Have a good evening. Yeah.
Bye. There you go. Harli White. Looking forward to seeing her racing in this area. Be pretty cool.
Interesting story, Scott.
I know. Maybe you can get her to run your late model.
I'm sure we can at least get her some laps.
Okay. Speaking of tracks in the area, Millstream Speedway returning to racing action May 9th. That is the opener. Follow them on Twitter or Facebook or millstreamspeedway.net. They have a test and tune coming up a week from Sunday. This past Sunday's was canceled due to the lovely weather. Hopefully they'll have the 25th test and tune before that May 9th opener, which is going to be a sprint show, 410s, 305s, and compacts, I do believe. I'm going off memory on that. Don't quote me. Millstreamspeedway.net for sure. I see a doggy there.
Yeah.
A dog there. Hi.
She just came in to apologize for making all the noise.
Oh, okay. I didn't hear it, but
that's because I hit the mic button.
Got some racing news to get to before we get to this week's How Many and a chance to win a Big D's pizza. Also, our weekend weather pit stop with me instead of Ryan Weekman. He apparently was off today, so I'll have to do that for upcoming races. Got a couple races in the area this weekend, and the weather should be all right. Might be a little chilly, but the R word should be not in our vocabulary. Officials from the Superstar Racing Experience announced the addition of 4 grassroots racing stars to its driver roster for the inaugural season. 6-time NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour champion Doug Coby will race in the season opener on June 12th at Stafford Motor Speedway. 4-time Knoxville Raceway champion Brian Brown will compete at Knoxville Raceway. 5-time USAC Silver Crown champion Cody Swanson will compete June 26th at Eldora Speedway. USAC and NASCAR Whelen Modified winner Bobby Sanos III will compete at Lucas Oil Raceway. So a little bit of some grassroots level.
Sadly, I missed the cut.
Yeah, why didn't they call Ron? I don't know.
Not enough experience.
We mentioned last week Taylor Gray was in an accident last Wednesday. He's a David Gilliland racing driver. He underwent surgery last Thursday, a week ago, for fractured L4 vertebrae after being involved in that car accident. He's also going to undergo another surgery, if he hasn't already, for a fractured left foot and ankle. That single-car accident took place in Statesville, North Carolina last Wednesday night. He's 16 years old. He was scheduled to make his first NASCAR Camping World Truck Series start in the number 17 Ford F-150 at Richmond this weekend, but will now be forced to miss the race, and that truck has been withdrawn from the event. Did you hear about Skyline Speedway?
No, what happened there?
Skyline Speedway in Stuart, Ohio will return to racing in 2021. With a limited schedule. Area racing veteran Jeff Burdett purchased the facility, and it's going to run a limited schedule. That located in the other corner of Ohio, south.
Right.
East corner, yeah. You confused me with the right thing. The south right corner. Joe Graff and Gray Galding got into it after the Martinsville Xfinity race. Did you see any of that fight?
That wasn't a fight. Somebody tackled somebody.
Yeah.
Maybe a couple swings, but they missed.
No, but the words were fun. What they said afterwards. Where'd I go? Oh. I 100% wrecked him on purpose, Galding stated via SiriusXM NASCAR radio after the race. Galding adding, watching him drive out there is hilarious. I'm very, very happy to be the one who wrecked him. Joe Graff Jr. Responded via comment on social media and said, geez, listening to Gray talk on SiriusXM NASCAR radio, he talks like he is Dale Earnhardt. Gray is 38th in points and has no top 20 finishes, no lead lap finishes, and I am in his way. LOL.
Yeah. I'll bet we haven't heard the last of that, Scott.
Probably not. I mentioned that breaking news earlier. How about we get to that since we made people wait over an hour for that? All right, hold on. We got to do the breaking news thing here. Right, got to do it right. I don't remember which button is breaking news now. This one. Okay, here we go. At least that's what it says. Hey, it is. So, breaking news from Oakshade Raceway for the Bill Reckner Memorial coming up on Saturday, April 24th. That's a week from this Saturday. It's the opener. And again, previously mentioned the breaking news was late models is going to be part of that show. Usually late models are off until the second week, but late models part of the show. But the breaking news is extra money, a lot of extra money has been added to go to the winner of the Bomber A Main for the Bill Reckner Memorial. A couple sponsors. We were talking to Brian about this earlier. Sponsors coming up, just popping up and wanting to hear their name out there and putting in some extra money, and pretty significant extra money. It's going to pay $780 to win. That's almost as big as the Bomber Spectacular at the end of the year, but just shy of $800 to win thanks to PTSD Awareness Racing and Dynamic Technologies Setup and Consulting. So thanks to them. Put your camera up. I don't want to look. I see your dog, but it's also focusing elsewhere, and we don't need that.
On the dog.
There you go. So cool. Pretty cool deal there. So a lot of money going to the winner of the Bomber A Main, which could be an interesting thing because people be shaking out cars they're not familiar with and probably driving over their heads to win $780. We'll see how that works out. SRX and CBS have announced their broadcast team for the Superstar Racing Experience deal. And remember, we had talked to Dr. Jerry Punch last fall, and kind of speculating that maybe he might get part of that deal. Unfortunately, nope, that didn't happen.
No.
Lindsay Sarniak, I believe, how you pronounce the name. Alan Bestwick, you've heard of him, I'm sure. And Brad
Alan
Doherty
Bestwick's
as well.
good. Alan
Bestwick's good, yeah. Brad Doherty and Matt Yoakum's going to be the pit reporter.
Yep. Oh, very good.
Yeah, so that's pretty good. Joining them is Danica Patrick.
Ooh. Another washed-up racer.
Okay. James Hinchcliffe and Dario Franchitti. All right, no comments from that.
That's a pretty star-studded lineup.
Yeah, it's pretty diverse. I mean, you got people from different backgrounds there, so we'll see how that works. Eldora made a big announcement on Tuesday night. They revealed their 2021 race schedule. 24 nights of racing starting May 7th and 8th with the Let's Race 2 doubleheader weekend. Of course, Harli White, we just had on, is going to be there. I suppose she's not on the phone still. We could remove that from the screen. So, yeah. Count me in on the front. Oh, Adam Lance is going for that $780 in the Bomber A for the Bill Reckner.
All right.
I'll try to stay out of your way, Adam. At least you have a good number. I like his number. May 7th and 8th is the first weekend of racing at Eldora. There's a lot of doubleheader weekends. Speaking of which, they are going to be doing Let's Race 2 doubleheader weekends. Going to have the World of Outlaws as well as the USAC AMSOIL National Sprint Car Series. 3 marquee events will have the 2021 event followed by the rescheduled 2020 event. So those events include the Dirt Late Model Dream. The 2021 race will be on June 10th, and the 2020 race will be on June 12th. So you got that? Yeah, they're doing the new one first, and then last year.
Okay, all right.
$127,000 will go to the winner on the 10th, and $126,000 will go to the makeup race on June 12th, the 2020 makeup race. 38th Kings Royal will take place 2 days for paying $175,000 to win. Man, Tony's got some deep pockets there.
Boy.
June 15th and 17th. And then the World 100 will take place, 2 World 100s on September 8th and September 10th. And I believe one of those is going to be some significant anniversary of it. I don't remember which one.
Oh, okay.
Years? Has it been around for 50 years?
Oh, yeah.
But there's going to be further announcements on that. The April 17th Buckeye Outlaw Sprint Series event, originally scheduled for Plymouth Speedway, has been canceled due to track resurfacing. That was supposed to be this weekend. Plymouth will be hosting Test and Tunes the next 2 weekends to work in the new clay. The next MPD Racing Boss event will be May 7th and 8th at I-96 Speedway in Lake Odessa, Michigan. For years after the formation of Junior Motorsports, Dale Earnhardt Jr. wouldn't even entertain the idea of his team advancing into the NASCAR Cup Series one day. However, fresh off Josh Berry's win during Sunday's NASCAR Xfinity race at Martinsville, Earnhardt admitted a Junior Motorsports Cup Series program could be feasible in the future because of the implementation of NASCAR's new next-gen formula. Earnhardt admitted to reporters following Sunday's race that he has spoken to his sister, Junior Motorsports co-owner Kelly Earnhardt Miller, about the potential of taking Junior Motorsports to the Cup Series with the rollout of the next-gen car coming next year.
Yeah.
I think that makes sense.
That Xfinity win was a real feel-good race, too, Scott.
Yeah. The Honda Indy Toronto race may end up getting canceled for a second year in a row due to COVID-19 concerns up there in Canada. A decision will be made by June 1st for the event scheduled for July 11th. They need Canadian and local government health agencies to approve the public event, and that appears unlikely at this time with the slow vaccination rollout in Canada, coupled with the rising number of cases. And one final bit of news is something that I didn't even know existed until today, as a matter of fact. The Euro NASCAR Whelen, or it's the NASCAR Whelen Euro Series. I did not know this was the thing.
No, I didn't either.
And I didn't feel bad because Ron didn't either. But apparently it is a thing, and they're kind of doing the ice racing thing. It's kind of getting to be a big thing, I think, because they're doing ice racing. They actually took the car there, Team FJ. Took one of their stock cars to the Val Thorens France track. I'm probably not pronouncing that right because I don't speak French, but
Oui.
Sí.
Oui.
Tres años of Español, de Español. I don't know. Anyways, they went. They tested on the ice there, and as you can see, it looks like things went pretty well. They used studded tires, and it's not like the sprint car racing on the lakes here that's just an oval track. This was like a road course, and it actually looks pretty cool. It almost looks like a video game, doesn't it?
It does. It really does.
So that could be something coming in the future for at least the NASCAR Whelen Euro Series. I don't know. I guess they're basically.
I wonder if that's a frozen lake or if that's a like a flooded.
I think it's a
road
track.
Course.
I think it's a track. I'm not sure exactly what that is. I just saw that and was like, well, that's neat. And also,
just break out the fire hoses.
Never heard of Euro NASCAR. It's time for How Many. Last week's How Many was how many Renegades were going to be at Sandusky Speedway on Saturday, assuming they ran at least one race. Guess what? They ran races. The weather was not very cooperative for the guys over there at Sandusky, but they did. And there were 12. 12 cars were registered. I checked via My Race Pass. Mm-hmm. So, Ron, you were the winner. You had the lowest pick of 18. So, congratulations. Our online winner and a winner of a Big D's Pizza, Jeffrey Ferree. He picked 16. He was even closer than you.
Good job, Jeff.
So congratulations. Get with me or Dean, and we'll tell you how to get your Big D's pizza. This week's How Many, and a chance to win a Big D's pizza. I haven't talked about this yet, but Waynesfield, I guess we kind of mentioned it when Brian was on. Waynesfield Raceway Park's going to be in action with the Fast 410s and 305s. So that's Saturday night. This week's How Many is how many 305s will be there at Waynesfield on Saturday night. He said they've been averaging over 30 at Fremont in that class. So there's your starting point. If you want to enter to win a free pizza, just put your guess in on the comments of our Facebook Live. And you can only guess once. If you guess the same number as somebody else, we'll spin the Big D's pizza wheel to determine the tiebreaker there. So everybody's guessing in the 20s. All right, there's one that's in the 30s. Okay. What do you got, Ron, since you were the winner?
22.
What? 22?
22. It's going to be chilly, Scott. It's going to keep a few guys home.
All right. Is Kathy still in Florida?
Oh, yeah, and will be for a while.
All right. Jerry's busy doing his iRacing stuff, so he doesn't get a guess. I'm going to go 23 then, because then...
Oh, you suck.
Anything above you, I'm going to end up winning that.
Come on. Tell me how you feel about the race, Scott.
Well, Gene Steele says Lorraine is running Saturday night also. So that.
Yeah, but Lorraine's pavement.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, isn't Lorraine pavement? Yeah.
Yes.
So anyway, get your guess in. We'll take guesses up until, we'll say noon on Saturday. So if you're listening to us on Google Podcasts or Apple Podcasts, whatever, you can still get in. Just find our Facebook. Go to facebook.com/HammerDown Racing Report, or go to HammerDownRacingReport.com, and you can enter or get to our Facebook live broadcast that way. Get your comments in the live broadcast thread there. So I see 24, 30, 21.
28, 29, yeah.
35. So, yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Speaking of this weekend's races, we got a couple of events happening. Attica Raceway Park back in action. They've been pretty lucky so far this year.
They have.
Usually starting this early in the season, they run into some weather issues, but they seem to be doing all right. Tomorrow night's Advanced Drainage Systems, Erie Blacktop night with the 410 sprints, late models, 305s. Gates open at 5, racing at 7:45. General admission, $18 there. And, maybe we'll see. I got to go watch that late model race from last weekend. Late model feature on their website after we're done here.
I got to watch the whole race. It was.
Were you on the edge of your seat?
I really was. Scott, I don't remember breathing for a while. I can't imagine what the guys were doing out on the racetrack.
Nice. Waynesfield Raceway Park, Saturday night with the Fast 410s. The Fast Series will be in action. $4,000 to win for that. And the 305s, as we mentioned, from Fremont and Attica there. Gates open at 2 p.m. on Saturday for that. Racing has been moved up to 6 p.m. With the class. They're going to try and get in and out as soon as they can because, like you said, it is going to be a little chilly, which means it's time for your weekend weather pit stop without your official Hammer Down Racing Report meteorologist, Ryan Weekman. I feel like everybody's abandoning us tonight. Jerry abandoned us. Ryan Weekman abandoned us tonight. But anyway, Friday night, Attica. It's going to be a little cool and breezy. It'll start out all right. High is going to be 59, but low temperature 37. So it's gonna cool off once that sun goes down. So bring the long johns Friday night.
Bring your Carhartts, but be there.
Definitely be there. Yeah, rain should not be a factor. No precipitation predicted. Saturday it's going to be cloudy and cool at Waynesfield. And a little bit cooler on Saturday, and it's going to be cooling down to the 30s again, so kind of the same kind of deal. Just dress warm, but other than that, it should be good. That's your weekend weather pit stop. Ready to pull out now. All right, go. Drop the jack. You're a little slow there. I think it's time to get a new driver. I don't know. All right, Hammer Down Racing Report Twitter poll. from this past week. Should NASCAR race on rain tires when it's wet on the short tracks? What do you think, Ron?
Oh, absolutely.
You know, they did the test with Kyle Larson. He said the rain tires Goodyear provided seemed to work pretty well. Unfortunately, they weren't approved in time for this weekend at Martinsville, which probably would have helped. But majority of people, according to our Twitter poll, they don't care. 61.5%.
Really?
Yep. 30% said yes, and 7.7% said no. So there you go. Make sure to follow us on Twitter at Hammer Report, and you can get in on that.
So is that a referendum on rain tires, or is that a referendum on NASCAR in general?
I think that's more of a referendum on NASCAR in general. I do believe. So,
actually, last week's race was very entertaining.
What, the NASCAR race?
Yes,
Cup
the
race?
Cup race. Yes.
I did watch it. It was okay.
There was some passing and there was some drama and, few spins, but it wasn't there were no Talladega type crashes.
There was that one with Kyle Busch.
It got a lot of cars, but none of them spectacular wrecks though.
No, but it was the big one at Martinsville.
Yeah, you get the first three cars wrecking and I
want to thank associate producer Dave Kemmer and field correspondents Matt Swander, Doug Dock. Oh, Doug, he sent me the pronunciation that I did wrong. It's Rusiska. Ethan Rusiska. So, thanks, Dave.
I see.
Sorry, I mentioned his name earlier. The beginner stock winner at Sandusky Speedway on Saturday.
Hereafter referred to as that Ethan guy.
Yeah, we'll just go with Ethan. Next week on the show, we'll have Chrissy Hendricks of Oakshade Raceway will be our guest. Talk about the 2021 race season at Oakshade. Also, I believe with John Young Racing, we're going to be giving away a 4-pack of tickets, pops, and burgers for
cheeseburgers
for Oakshade.
Four cheeseburgers, four fries, and 4 pops. And 4 tickets.
And if you're a single person and you go by yourself, you can go 4 times and get 4 burgers each time you go. I mean, 1 burger each time you go.
But you got to be here to be part of that, right?
Yeah, it's going to be, we're going to do it for the how many. So you also get a Big D's pizza, too. You just have to go in the opposite direction to get that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. A couple of weeks from tonight, probably talk to Scott Schultz about the Toledo and Flat Rock Speedway schedules. They're going to be racing. Flat Rock Speedway has been dark for over a year now, so yeah.
Forever.
No Hammer Down hotline playback tonight, unfortunately. I know everybody's upset about that, but if you want to leave a message for us to play back, feel free to. 419-318-3081. Call anytime, day or night. 419-318-3081. If you want to be on the Hammer Down Race Report, there's a chance. Pretty much.
Fortunately, my fan club's been absent from that.
No, I think they've gone on to other things, I suppose. Somebody asked who's putting up the extra money again for the Bill Richter Memorial. Once again, that was the PTSD Awareness Racing and Dynamic Technology Setup and Consulting. Those the 2 groups each of them putting in $300 extra for getting that winner's payout to be $780 next Saturday.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, pretty cool stuff.
Be nice if a couple more people step forward and paid some more in a couple of the other positions in that race.
Reach out to, not even Oakshade, to anybody, any of the local tracks. Support them, help them out, give them a call. You got some money laying around, you want to help get your name out there. Or us race car drivers, we like the extra money.
The racers like to know that people really care.
Yeah.
So it's a really cool deal.
Once again, thanks to Oakshade Raceway, where the fastest meet to race. Real Geese Silhouette Decoys, Millstream Speedway, Big D's Pizza, Ron Miller Race Cars. Make sure to support those who support us. And we'll see you next Thursday, 7 o'clock. I don't even know when we do the show. Next Thursday, 7 o'clock. We'll be
almost 200 shows, Scott. You should know.
Yeah, you'd think so. It's too complicated for me. I can't handle this stuff anymore. Yep, we're gone. Bye.
We're gone.
We're leaving.
You have been listening to the Hammer Down Racing Report, available on demand on iTunes, Google Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcasting platform.